I'm joined by Brad Pace, a longtime attorney who focuses on immigration law. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
And for walking us through this ordinance. What's your take on that?
I think it's a good common sense move. It allows people to get a ID, which they need to operate in day-to-day life in modern America. The ability to cash a check or enroll somebody in school. That's a real challenge for some people who can't get that ID.
Now, you have clients who are dealing with immigration issues. Does this maybe take away some of the pause they might have of being out in society?
I think it does. They can feel a little bit more a part of their community. They don't have to fear local police. Some undocumented people are afraid to call the police when they need help, or perhaps be wary to cooperate with law enforcement, fearing that they would be handed over to ICE. So I think it could be a very good positive for local law enforcement when you have more trust with the community.
All right, and there are benefits to this for these undocumented immigrants for sure. When it comes to enforcement of immigration, does this change anything? I've looked at the language here. There's a lot of there are a lot of qualifiers about, we won't necessarily cooperate with ICE unless required by law. Does this hamper law enforcement, immigration enforcement at all?
Yeah, I don't see it that way. No, I think they obviously can still come in and do their job. The immigration agencies decide who gets to live in this country, and they can come into KCK and Wyandotte County and do their job. What this regulation means is that in most circumstances, the city and county government will not get involved in immigration enforcement, and I think that's a good thing. I don't think they have the training and expertise to get involved in this area, which is very complex. So it's a real slippery slope when they do.
And when it comes to law enforcement, we've heard from the county sheriff who says, look, I have to follow the state laws. Are there going to be potential challenges here for these undocumented immigrants with this even on the table?
I think the laws basically stay in place, and law enforcement continues to do its job in the different areas of responsibility that they have.
How much power do these local rules have, though, if they're contradicting state and federal law?
Well, I think mainly what we're going to see here is that undocumented people and homeless people and other segments will be able to get a local ID that is reliable. I think that's the headline for this bill. I think the other issues are really phantom issues, frankly.
If Kansas does come back and create a state law that's tailored to combat this, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think the way the regulation is written, they would obviously have to comply with that. So it would be back to the drawing board, I think.
So this could be a major hurdle for them moving forward.
It would be if that happens.
Critics were very vocal. We went to the county commission meeting a week and a half ago and listened to their complaints and their concerns. They're very vocal that these rules somehow provide extra protection to non-citizens that these U.S. citizens would not have. Do you see that by reading that?
No, I think that's misinformation. That's not the case at all. It's simply giving folks an ID, which the rest of us take for granted. This will be a model for other communities, and I think the vocal critics may think differently a year or two from now. I think this is going to work out very well for everyone.
Do you anticipate any major challenges?
Not other than the one that you mentioned, possibly from Topeka, but we'll see how that goes.
Right, and that could be a big one too. We'll of course be watching.
Sure.
You represent many clients, as we said, dealing with immigration issues. What are the main challenges aside from Wyandotte County that you're noticing right now?
Well, I think there's just an uncertainty. Immigration law is almost constantly in flux. There were the Trump era changes that have now been pushed back against by the Biden administration, but where we go from here is speculation.
All right, well, we appreciate you walking us through it, Brad Pace. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Next on Heart of the Matter,